Okay, now the last point is actually the most fun one. It's pink and blue call. Media can transport very strong messages about what boys and girls ought to be like. This can be in subtle forms and in not quite so subtle forms. I'll show you an article by Madeleine Messer. Madeleine Messer is a 12-year-old girl who did a research project on the gender of characters in iPhone apps. One day, I noticed that my friend was playing a game as a boy character and asked why she wasn't a girl. She said, "You couldn't be a girl. Only boy characters. A boy character was the only option." I found that 18% of apps that she studied had characters whose gender was not identifiable. Potatoes, cats, monkeys. Of the apps that did have gender identifiable characters, 98% offered boy characters. What shocked me was that only 46% offered girl characters. Even worse. Of these 50 apps, 90% offered boy characters for free, while only 15% offered girl characters for free. In one game, Survival Run with Bear Grylls, you can put the character in a Santa Claus suit for $1.98, but there is no girl to be had at any price. Does this mean that girls aren't capable of escaping a bear, but Santa is? And one of the few games to be centered on a woman, Angry Gran Run, still offers a large number of boy characters. Even when the game is about a grandmother, game makers will still make sure there are boy characters. I found that when an app did sell girl characters, it charged on average $7.53, which is a lot in the world of apps. And she continues, "These biases affect young girls like me. The lack of girl characters implies that girls are not equal to boys, and they don't deserve characters that look like them. I am a girl, I prefer being a girl in these games, I do not want to pay to be a girl. If our character choices tell us these games aren't for us, eventually we'll put them down." She looked at commercial games, not at language learning apps, but I think the principle is the same. Male characters are considered the norm, the normal, the standard, the unsurprising part. Female characters are the deviation, the extra, the surprising, the costly one. Let's talk about an app that can be used quite easily in the language learning classroom. It's Telagami. It's an app where you can write a text or you can speak a text into your cell phone microphone, and then it turns this text or the audio into a little video with an avatar animation. It's really nice if you want to practice pronunciation or free speaking, and you want to make a video, but without video editing and equipment and without showing the kids themselves, because some kids do not mind being recorded, but don't want their face on a video. Now, let's look at the options available for creating an avatar. I made a video, and I tried using the free version to make the avatar as much like myself as I could. Look at my avatar, back at me, back at my avatar, back at me. My avatar does not look like me because not everything is possible when you use a free app. This is actually as close as I could get to myself in the free app. You can have male characters and female characters. You can dress them differently. There are different hair colors, skin colors, eye colors. But what cannot be changed? Women cannot wear masculine clothing. Women must have breasts. Women must be slim. Women cannot wear a pantsuit. Women cannot wear a jacket. Women cannot have very short hair. Women cannot be bald. This is basically the complete list of things you can change in the female characters. There are things you just can't do. The male characters have different options, but again, you can be a bold man, but you do not have all options the female characters have. You're limited in both ways. And this communicates something. The availability of choices and the absence of choices transports a message about what is an acceptable range of looking like. It's not like it's a deviation to not have hair as a woman. It's not even considered possible not to have hair. You can have long hair as a woman, but being bald, it's no option. It just isn't envisioned as an option for a woman. I'll give you another rather negative example. This is Through the Wild Web Woods. It's a game about internet security and children's rights. And as you see, at the beginning of the game, you have to choose a character based on gender and sex, because they conflate gender, the pink and blue dichotomy, and sex as defined by chromosome status. This is for elementary students. This means that anybody who actually know what the X's and Y's mean, anybody in this age group who ever heard about this will not fit into this dichotomy, because most 11-year-olds who know about chromosomes know about this for a reason. So this is really a totally unnecessary conflation of sex and gender, and a totally unnecessary use of a binary understanding of both. I'll present you another example. The last one actually isn't very applicable for language learning, but it's the only really positive one I could find. It's from Habit RPG. It's a game where you take over a character, and then you have to do your good habits. You have to floss every evening, and then you find a dragon egg. You do your assignment on time, and you gain points against this nemesis you're fighting. But forget your homework, and you use health, and you might actually die. Now, I brought just a couple of character choices. Sorry, these are just other images of the same character in Habit RPG. You do not have to change the gender of your character in order to have this kind of variety in how you look like. There's actually no setting that says male or female, but you can choose whether you want to have broad shoulders or narrow shoulders. That's your choice. You are not forced to say what gender you have. And this also means that if you want to have blue bunny hair, long hair, and mustache, and a rainbow-colored uniform, knight's uniform, you can have that. And you do not have to define this character as male. And the best part is actually the only thing I had to pay for was the mustache. For the mustache, I had to pay in-game money, but everything else are just the normal range of modification you can have. And now imagine what kind of message this sends. You can still expect most students would choose fairly stereotypical characters. But nobody is forced on the internet, or nobody should be forced to identify sex with gender, to take it as binaries, and to define that female gender identity means female pronouns, a female body type, pink clothing, a pink animal you're riding, and long hair. It could mean any combination of these elements. Technologically, we could be having that. And we could be having it in every language learning product that uses an avatar. We just don't. In textbooks, you always have your 5 characters or 6 characters. There's only so much variation you can have. But when students design their own avatars, there's no reason why we would have to limit the choices they have. But we do. One last comment in that, on that topic. I have presented the choices the product offers. But of course, what's in the product itself is not the last word. This here is from the Move It interactive story player, and it's a photo from Ruben and the Magic Stone. It's the story we use in our Like project to study how children interact with each other and with different languages and the story. And there's a beautiful interaction I have between two children, one boy and a girl, arguing. Because they are arguing about whether Ruben is a boy or a girl. You could argue that, okay, this is a display that would be identifiable as male. But the child itself decides whether he or she takes Ruben as a boy or as a girl. And you can always say, I take this as a female character. Because it's not the product in itself, it's also how we take the product and interpret the product. Good.